Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the How to Build series where we're going through every single champion in the game, and I'm putting together a quick reference guide for newer players who need a little bit of guidance, have a few questions about a particular champ. I'm just going to tell you basically how you can use them, what kind of gear to put on them, and what I think about them overall. I won't be getting into masteries and late game stuff because that gets a little convoluted and specific based on how you want to utilize a particular champion. So again, it's just quick reference for newer players. Quick disclaimer, I'm not saying my way is the best way or the only way or that I know better than everybody else. I just want to get these little reference guides out for players that have less experience than I do and have a few questions. So that being said, let's jump into it with Judicator. I assume it's Judicator. He is Sacred Order attack champ. Looking at his base stats, his base HP is pretty standard for a rare attack. Base attack's pretty nice, basically 1400. Nothing wrong with that. And speed is nice. 104 on the speed. Not bad. Well over the 100 mark. So, pretty nice base stats. Pretty solid base stats. Let's take a look and see what he's got going on. First skill, attacks one enemy. Has a 20% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 15%. Okay, so a little 15% turn meter knockback. It's nothing super substantial, but it can be a nice little chip as a long battle goes on, maybe against the boss or something like that. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a 30% decrease defense buff for 2 turns. Okay, so second skill, defense break. If it was first skill, that would be pretty crucial. It'd be pretty drastically different if that was on his first skill. It's on his second skill on a 4-turn cooldown. It takes a lot of skill ups to get that down to a 3-turn cooldown. But a defense break nonetheless is a nice thing to have in a kit, and it does last for 2 turns. So not bad, and he's got the attack bar knockback, so he'll keep it up a little bit longer. It might feel a little bit longer than 2 turns if he lands his attack bar decrease. So yeah, okay, interesting, and a pretty decent chance as well, 50% chance of landing. Third skill, attacks one enemy. This attack deals 30% extra crit damage. Okay. What would be cool? Nah, we won't do that. 30% extra crit damage, so 87% crit damage if you don't put another point of crit damage on him. Okay, so nice little attack set. Nothing outrageous here, but I mean, a nice little rare attack champ. Off the top, I think probably dungeons. I think dungeons is where you're gonna get the most out of him. I think longer fights are going to be where he's going to shine a little bit. You're going to get a lot. You're going to feel the effects a lot more of this attack bar decrease and the defense break. Whereas in something like Arena, the battles generally are not long enough for that to matter so much on such a small scale anyway. If it was AOE attack bar decrease, or it was more substantial, like a reset or a 75% or a 50% even. If it was a more substantial knockback, you'd feel it a little bit more in Arena. But I think in bosses, you'll notice it a little more where fights are going on for a really long time. Or longer, I guess I should say, not a really long time. But the defense break, you'll feel a lot more in the dungeons as well. And then this is just, a fun little third skill with a crit damage boost. There's nothing really crazy about it, to be honest. You still have to ruin him for a decent amount of crit rate for this to really matter, because it's on a 5-turn cooldown. So if he uses it and he doesn't crit, it's a long time before it comes back around. So I think I'm going to say exclusively dungeons is where he could be somewhat effective. As far as artifacts, I think what we want out of him is we want a lot of turn cycling. So we want a lot of speed on him. I think we want a hard focus speed for sure. Because the more often he gets a turn, the more often he's going to potentially be knocking the attack bar back a little bit. And even though it's only 15%, that'll add up if he does it. Like I said, it adds up if he does it a bunch of times in the course of one fight against the boss. So you'll notice it. You know what I mean? Whereas in Arena or Campaign, you might not notice it so much. So speed for sure. We want him turn cycling. We want him cycling through to this defense break as often as possible. We want him cycling through as much as possible so that he can crit, which brings us to our next stat we want. We want him to crit. So we want him to have damage, we want him to have speed, we want him to crit. So I guess we want him to have a little bit of accuracy too, because we want him to land this attack bar knockback, and we want him to land his defense buff. So he's a little bit stat hungry. He's going to be a little bit more difficult to build earlier in the game. I think probably what would be... There's a few ways you could do this. I can't stop yawning. There's a few ways you could do this. We want an attack set on him, for sure. We want a speed set on him, for sure. We want... Yeah, it's tough. Because here's the problem. We want attack on him, we want speed on him, we want crit rate on him, and we want accuracy on him. And all 4 of those have sets, but you can only put 3 of those sets on him. So, what you're going to do, here's what I'm going to recommend that you do. Instead of giving you a ton of options and potentially confusing you if you're newer to this, here's what I'm going to suggest that you do. I'm going to suggest that you put a speed set on him, an accuracy set on him. If you're very early, an attack set. If you're not super early and you have a set for it, crit rate set instead of attack set. So either speed set, accuracy set, attack set, speed set, accuracy set, crit rate set, okay? Whatever you've got at your disposal that you can find all those stats on. For the gloves, you want to go crit rate percentage. For the armor, you want to go attack percentage. For the boots, you want to go speed. In your substats, you want to look for all of his important stats. So in your substats, where applicable, you are looking for attack percentage, speed, crit rate, and accuracy. Now, if you don't want to pay much attention to this skill, if you don't care about that extra 30% crit damage, because honestly, it's not going to be a game changer. 30% crit damage is not going to be a game changer, especially early in the game. You can scrap the whole idea of crit rate and just go attack, speed, and accuracy, and just scrap crit rate till you're later in the game and you have better gear, which by then you'll probably have a better champion than this. So that's what you can do. If you're up for a challenge and you want to really go out and hunt the gear, you can really hard focus those 4 stats. If you just want to get some use out of him and have him still be effective and just kind of not worry so much about this critting on such a regular basis, scrap the crit rate from the desired stats and go attack percentage on the gloves, and then go attack set, speed set, accuracy set, right? So again, little stat hungry, a little bit more of a project to build than some of the champions that I've gone over already, and some of the other champions that I'm aware of in the game. There are attack champs that are much easier to build than he is. But again, if you're up for the challenge, it could be fun. He could be a fun little dungeon champ to use. He does have a nice little bit of utility, especially the faster you can get him. You get him landing that attack bar knockback on a regular basis and keeping that defense break up. It won't matter so much that he's not critting here, because he's still going to be doing nice damage anyway. So those are my thoughts on him. Kind of fun, kind of interesting. Nice that he's got a couple of ways you could go with it. You could go just, the easier to obtain gear, get him set up and have him still be effective, or you could just really take on the challenge and hunt a bunch of gear for him. Then there's the discussion of whether or not he's really worth all that work. He could be fun. He does have some utility for sure. I wouldn't just put all my time into him though. If I was going to build him earlier in the game, I would probably do the scrap the crit rate idea, to be honest. I think he could be just as useful without the crit rate, so I'd make sure I had speed, attack, and accuracy on him. That's personally what I would do, but do your thing. Do what you're feeling. I think that's going to wrap it up for him. If you have any questions about him, drop them below. If you've got any comments about him, if you're using him and he's better or worse, or you're doing something with him that I didn't suggest or maybe I didn't think about, let us know in the comments down below. If you want to try to catch me live, I stream every weekday on Twitch at 6 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/JGigs. And yeah, that's going to do it. I hope that this helped, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, rating out of 10. Forgot to do the rating out of 10. Yeah, 5. Pretty across the middle, in my opinion. If not a 5, 5. 5's a safe. I think 5's a good ranking for him. He doesn't have a ton of utility. He's kind of hard to build. There's nothing insane about his kit. I think 4.5 to 5, somewhere maybe average or slightly below average. What I think about him. He'll fall off quick, but again, do what you want to do. Enjoy your game. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you in the next one.